Oh, I don't pay for suits. My suits are on the house, or the house burns down.
Welcome back to the Red Right Hand Podcast, the show that covers each and every episode of the Netflix/BBC hit show, The Peaky Blinders. I'm Josh.
And I'm Curtis.
And we are back for Season 3, Episode 4, which I didn't make a title for.
That's on you.
It's like, I'm looking here, and there's nothing.
It is blank. That is the episode. It's one of the episodes we're going to let you name. How about that? No?
Yeah, I like it.
Or we could just call it Untitled.
Just let somebody else do it.
It'll probably be something really stupid. Like clown fart or something.
Just completely unrelated to anything going on in the episode.
Red Right Hand Podcast, Season 3, Episode 4, Clown Fart.
Clown fart.
Oh, I wonder what this episode is going to be about.
Oh, I bet this is probably their best one.
Oh, man.
So, when I was rewatching the episode, I thought a lot of the stuff that happened in this episode happened in episode 5. Like, I guess I thought everything was just kind of pushed back a little bit.
Right. So what'd you think happened in this episode then?
I don't know, filler?
Just a bunch of walking around?
Yeah.
Random B shot, what was that? B-roll shots?
B-roll, some beating people up.
Riding some horses.
Yeah, we take over a tavern.
Drinking a whiskey or two.
Yep.
Smoking some cigarettes.
Making deals in some dark alleys.
Okay. And then we come back to real life in episode 5. Yeah, okay. That sounds about right.
Yeah. That was my recollection. But
Okay.
I guess that's not how it went down.
Well, no, obviously not. So
the episode starts out with everybody's out hunting and Tommy kills a stag. They get a letter from a woman in America saying that their dad died leaving a pub. They always have such cool names. The Mickey Free.
Mm-hmm.
And he was killed by 2 guys in an alley. And the woman said in the letter that their dad had asked for their forgiveness while he was dying, and they basically decide that there's really no need to forgive him. They're gonna eat the stag to remember him, and then they're gonna forget. Because he said the only thing that he ever taught us was how to kill and cut a stag. And then this is our first mention of the robbery kind of to anybody else. Like, we've heard Polly and Tommy talk about it a little bit, but this is the first time I think that he's mentioning it to any of them.
yeah, I think that was another reason why they went out there, was to kind of talk business to get away from everybody. Because he said, too, it's like, you guys are the only ones I feel like I can really trust.
Yeah.
So, while we're out here in the middle of nowhere, I'll go ahead and tell you what's happening.
Yeah. And this is just another one of those moments where, because what was it, last episode? It was John who started a bunch of problems for Tommy.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a lot more serious. But Polly, she's pretty drunk, and she goes into, I think it's just like their local church there. Is it the church in Birmingham, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I would think.
And she goes to do confession, and she basically tells the priest that they're going to kill a holy man. And yeah, because they've decided basically at this point that they're going to kill Father Hughes. I don't think Tommy's gotten permission yet to do that.
No, that's what he did. Remember in the last episode, at the very end, was when he had the dinner meeting, and he told them that he can't eat. He doesn't want to eat in the same room with him. And then he talked to Tatiana afterwards because he sent that secret note to I don't remember what the other Russian lady's name is, but he gave her that note saying, "Yeah, I have secrets," and so they were talking about him killing, him killing the priest.
Yeah.
And so he was just basically wanting their permission. They basically told him, "Yeah, go ahead." They wanted proof, And
Yeah.
I think that's something else we find out here pretty quickly is in this episode too. Is they still want proof, but he don't think he really feels like he has to prove anything to them.
Yeah. No, I mean, if he wants to do it, he's going to do it.
Right. Well, and I think he says too is like my proof is my word.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think I mean, there's so many things that I've probably just forgotten, but I forgot that she kind of mentioned what happened with Campbell right there, too.
Yes. Yeah. That was one of her confessions.
Yeah.
Brings back some good memories. Creeper Campbell.
Yeah. My note for this next part was Esme throws a fit.
That's basically what it is, yeah.
I don't remember exactly what the scene was, though.
It's there. So they open up in the morning. Boys are still gone hunting, kind of having their little vacation time. And, of course, Polly comes in all hungover. She's a mess. Lizzie's, opening up the what would you call it? The book? The bookie? The book? Whatever. The betting place. There we go. Esme comes in. Of course, she's all pregnant. So she's got to deal with that, too. And they're all just kind of talking about having to work while the boys go out and play. And,
Yeah.
Just kind of throwing different things out here and there. And then Linda comes in and spreading positivity, which I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right now. I have discovered, and I think it's in this episode, maybe the last one, that I think I hate her more than I disliked Grace.
Oh, yeah, no, she's
For
way
sure.
worse.
And I keep forgetting that until like I get to this season and she comes into play. I'm like, yeah, I forgot how much I just hated her guts.
Yeah.
She's so annoying.
Yeah.
Arthur was better without her, man. I think she really screwed his head up.
Yeah.
Which is saying something because he's already screwed up in the head.
Yeah. Does he wind up staying with her in like the later seasons? I can't remember.
No, from what I can remember is they end up kind of splitting and he kind of loses it because he really misses her or whatever, and so he tries to go after her, but to no avail. At least that's how they ended it in season 5.
Okay.
So.
So then we go back to Tommy and everybody. He's explaining the cut on the robbery.
Oh, by the way, the women go on strike. I forgot.
Not yet. It's
well,
like
not strike, but they walk out is what I'm trying to say.
Well, it's like a split scene there. So like Esme is talking to them. Polly comes in. Lizzie has to let her into the safe, and it's a split scene, like from there to,
Back to the boys.
yeah, when
Okay.
Tommy explaining like the cut, and then after they divvy it up, then it goes back to Linda's the one like knocking on the door.
Okay.
But I like when Tommy's telling everybody about the cuts, and it's everybody's one last job moment, And you son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah, but haven't we heard this before though?
What, one last job?
One last job.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much, especially after this season. I don't know how much stock you could really put into that.
Yeah.
No, just believe me. It's one more. Just one more.
There's a lot of like interesting things said in this episode. Some that pertain to things going on like right now, and some that like have to do with things that happen in the future.
Well, that's what I really like about this season is like it's more than just this season.
Yeah.
Whereas like the first 2 seasons were more in the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a little bit of building for the future, but I mean, this is really, there's so much happening. You know, we talked about in the last episode with like the Italians and all that stuff that's kind of preparing that path for the future, at least for the next episode, you know, and different stuff like that. But
Yeah. Yeah, there's like a scene later where Tommy says there's a general lack of discipline in this company.
yeah,
And that, you know, the first thing that it made me think of was Polly's actions, you know, like
Yeah.
earlier in the day. So
yeah.
Here's
Here's the
I
one.
also like where he says no more politics because it could kill us.
Yeah. Here's the one that gets me though is did you notice though that he never brings up the whole thing of how did the plot to kill the priest, how did that get out? He never brings it up. Well, he brings it up, but like I don't know. It's just weird because it almost feels like it's obvious that it's Polly and she would feel that way, you know?
Right, she was the only one
But
that he
she-
told.
Right, but she didn't say anything. And then, like, he doesn't really... I mean, he does go after her, but, like, not... But in, like, a different way, you know? Because he goes after her friendship with the painter.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just really weird. To me, it's just, like, that whole thing got swept underneath the rug, it seemed like, in the end. You know what I'm saying? Because I just feel like it normally it would have come out that, oh, Polly did it. You know, now I got to take care of this.
Yeah.
It's just kind of weird to me.
Yeah. I guess I don't know, yeah, I guess I shouldn't really think about it. But yeah, it's just everybody's one last job moment. And Tommy kind of lays out his plan, you know, we're going to keep the pubs, stop doing protection, we're going to keep the horses, but only go to race days, like, you know, for fun.
Full on legal.
Yeah.
From after this one last job.
Yeah. They're planning on putting a majority of their take from the robbery into their legitimate business in America.
Right.
So after that, Linda comes in, drags the girls out on strike. I meant to look it up. Is Jesse Eden a real person?
I did not look it up.
Yeah, I didn't look it up.
I don't think she is.
Okay. Well, I just wondered because they gave her like an actual name and everything, you know.
Well, but she comes into play later on.
Yeah, I don't
Throughout
remember
the
that
seasons. Yeah.
either. Yeah, and everybody knows her as the lady shop steward. I guess that's like the lady boss.
Yeah, I believe so.
So Linda drags them all out to go to a rally that Jesse Eating is holding for just equal work rights, right?
Yeah, it says her character was based on the real life person of the same name, so I guess she is real.
Okay, cool.
That's interesting.
And then Tatiana shows up at Tommy's house when they come back from hunting. He tells John to put a nail in her tires so that she can't leave and he can't tell her to leave. Because she's being offered as a part of this deal with the Russians, basically.
Right.
Oh, I put down, so after that, like, John comes back and he finds Esme in the vault. I put down, was she taking money for coke?
Yes, because that's what he was saying. Because he was talking about, you don't need to be doing that because you're pregnant or whatever. And she complains, it's like, well, it helps pass the time, and eases the pain, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, it'll pass the time.
Dude.
Think
of the baby.
Yeah. So John's kind of mad about that. I mean, he's mad that she's doing it while she's pregnant, and also he's mad that she's stealing money to be doing that.
Well, he tries to remind her too. It's like, look, I know you're tired of being cooped up here, but when this thing is over, it's like we'll get that house that we always talked about in the country, away from all this, and if you want to, we can camp out, away from the house to kind of get back to your roots or whatever,
Yeah.
Because she talked about it before with Tommy about, I don't remember, what was the word or the phrase she used?
Get lost.
Get lost, yeah. So, I mean, she's talked about doing that before, so she's obviously not for the lifestyle that they have,
Yeah.
She's not used to it, at least.
Yeah. So Tatiana tries to figure out Tommy's weakness, is basically like what's going on that entire scene, with her staying over. She's just trying to figure out like kind of what makes him tick and really just what's going on there. I mean, what did you think?
I just, again, like, she's crazy, man. I don't know. I've always been confused by that scene because, like you said, she's trying to find his weakness, and then she says she's found his weakness. But it's like, what is it? Because I don't even know, or I don't know. I get so confused.
Yeah, I mean...
But then, again, I'm so distracted by the fact that she's just, like, insane.
Oh, yeah, she's definitely insane.
So, it's like, do you believe half of what she really says? And I think Tommy's kind of the same way, too. It's like, I don't believe what you're saying, but then at the same time, I find myself believing words that are coming out of your mouth,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, like I said, it's just a really chaotic scene. And obviously, Tommy's pretty freaked out by it, too.
Yeah.
'Cause at one point, she's talking about playing, Russian roulette. And
Well, she does. She empties all the bullets and then pulls the trigger. Or all but one and pulls the trigger.
yeah. So.
And I feel like really the only other point of this scene was at the very end of it, she gives him permission to kill the priest.
Right, yeah. I forgot about that.
So I feel like that's the only other significant part of it. I mean...
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, some parts of this show just kind of seem like they're trying to mindfuck you a little bit,
Right,
Like they're just trying to mess with your head a little bit and maybe get you to just ask questions rather than it meaning one specific thing.
But don't you like that, though?
Yeah, a little
To
bit.
me, that's what makes a good show instead of just, this is how it is.
Yeah. Tell you what I didn't like. God, and we'll talk about it more, but like at the beginning of next episode, like I liked it, but I don't like it. Like how it starts with like the doctors and Ada like in the tunnel.
Yeah, that was trippy.
Yeah.
Of course, if you think about
With
it,
like the red light and everything.
right? But if you think about it, that's all the morphine that he's taking, because he talks about it later on in that episode too about he stopped taking the morphine because it's making him hallucinate.
Yeah, it made him see
His maid, Mary,
Yeah, Mary.
naked by his bedside reading the Bible, Leviticus to be exact.
Yeah.
Because he asked, he's like, "Do you ever just come in the middle of the night, come in my bedroom, stand there by my bedside naked, reading from the Bible of Leviticus?"
Yeah.
No? Okay, good. That's why I
No?
stopped taking my morphine.
Yeah. He's like, because that's what you did when I took the morphine.
Yeah. So, yeah, it is kind of a weird scene, but it's really trippy. But anyway.
Yeah. And this is a weird one too, though. Like, there's that massive picture of Grace like over the stairs.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, it's just a weird
Oh.
scene.
Any scene with Grace is a weird scene, according to me.
So Tommy reports back to the boys next day. They get some maps from Ada. I guess she checked them out of the library. And I put on there, Ada back in? You son of a bitch. I'm in.
I like that.
And the other big part, like kind of their plan here, so they've got the blueprints for the house, and they have narrowed it down to like a couple of cellars. Like they think it's in one of these couple cellars that they've got their strong room where they're hiding all their valuables. So their plan is to put a kid in the house, get somebody on staff there who can get them some more information, and just be their man inside.
That poor kid.
Yeah. So I don't remember where they came across the kid. Like why, I can't remember why they said like, oh, this is how we know this guy, but he wanted to open a pub, but he had a record and couldn't, or something.
So they're gonna help him.
Yeah, so they were going to
in
give
return.
him one of the pubs that they took off of.
Italians.
Yeah, Chengretta.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is when I guess Tommy goes back after they've all been to the rally. Yeah, and they come back. Polly's extremely hungover.
I don't know what you want. You gotta tell me what you want.
Yeah. But Esme lets him know that they know about the robbery. That Arthur told Linda about it, and Linda told the rest of the women. Yeah, and then my other note there was the no politics line that he gives, like no more politics, it could kill us. And I just,
Right.
I love that because he gets super heavily
Into
involved in
politics.
politics later on.
Well, he forgets.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my other note about that scene, was when he mentions that Polly was the only one who knows about the priest.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Cause, I mean, doesn't that narrow it down even more for you?
Yeah, no, it should be extremely obvious.
Yeah, I don't know. But I guess at a certain point, you just get paranoid about everybody.
Yeah.
So anyway.
He knows who these guys are. He knows that they can get to him. They put a note under his kid's pillow.
Right. It's gotta feel pretty bad though to realize that your own brother Arthur was the one that gave it away about the robbery.
Yeah.
To his own wife.
Yeah.
So.
They can't not tell her anything.
Right. Exactly.
Do
you let her know when you're going to the bathroom?
You gotta ask permission.
You gotta ask permission.
Can I go to the bathroom now? So yeah, and it goes right from there to the priest at their church meeting with Father Hughes and telling him what Polly said. So now Father Hughes knows what's going on, and yeah, it's not going to be good. Tommy goes to see Linda.
Yeah.
About this 41,000 pounds business. And that was the other thing. He doesn't even mention in that they're using, that they're not divvying up the money between them. You know?
What do you mean?
Okay, so when he laid out who was getting what.
You're talking about later on?
Before.
Okay.
Yeah, before, at the beginning of the episode.
Okay.
When Tommy laid out who was getting what money.
Mm-hmm.
He said that Charlie was going to get 10 or 20, I can't remember. I think 20,000. And then Isaiah was going to get, or Isaiah, he always says Isaiah. Isaiah was going to get 5,000, like for what they were going to be responsible for during this.
Right.
And then Tommy said, and the rest of it we put into legitimate business in America. They didn't even talk about divvying up anything between the brothers. And then now Linda comes in basically saying that, Arthur should get a third of the profits from this, like the total profits. He should get a third of that. Like, that's like not counting what they owe to Charlie and what they owe to Isaiah and what they're going to owe for the whole. And Tommy doesn't even mention to her that they're planning on dumping all of that money, not dividing it up, dumping all of it into their legitimate business.
Right.
But
they've got different plans though. Because they want to go to America and live with the Apaches and run like a missionary store.
Yeah.
With their money that she's demanding, basically.
Yeah.
She don't care about that legitimate business.
No. Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right. They just want to go do
because
their
it's her plan to get Arthur far away from Tommy.
Yeah. So yeah, at this point they're settled on this like 41,000 pounds. Like, that's basically what Linda insists on to not nudge Arthur the wrong way.
Right.
Because she keeps saying that it'll be Arthur's choice. Like, it's all Arthur's choice, but
is it?
It's what she's gonna sway him one way or the other.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then I think, what did she say? Baby was due in September, and the robbery was in June.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So then we just have another one of those little scenes with Polly and the painter. That one was a pretty quick one. It was the only thing that I took from that one was that he said the look that she had was, he said, imperious. He said, like, no man is good enough.
There, that one right there.
Yeah. So yeah, they just keep giving you those little scenes to kind of show you the progress of the painting and also just what's kind of going on between them. What do you think of the music in this next scene?
What was the next scene? I was trying to think of what the next scene is.
Tommy preps to go kill the priest.
He
goes into his office, gets his gun out, pulls out the bullet that he carved for Hughes.
Yeah. What was the song? I don't even remember what the song was now.
It's a song called Bad Habits, and I cannot remember right off the top of my head who it's by.
It's not Arctic Monkeys, though, was it?
No, it's not Arctic Monkeys. It sounds a lot like Black Keys, but it's also not Black Keys.
Okay.
The Last Shadow Puppets.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, me neither, man. But they've got a couple good songs.
I mean, I'm sure I liked it when I listened to it, but to be honest, it's not ringing a bell right this second.
Yeah.
So.
It's a good one. It's just like super bass heavy, and it's got a bunch of weird like dramatic strings in it that make it sound kind of like horror movie.
Right, but it goes into the next scene too, isn't it? Doesn't it?
It goes through that whole scene.
Yeah. Okay.
Like all the way up until Tommy walks into the bathroom.
Right. Oh God.
Yeah.
That's just that first part of that next scene though is just weird. It's like, oh God, the priest with all the kids.
Oh yeah.
It's like
Yeah, he's
like ah.
Yeah, he's super creep. And like
every time I find myself yelling at, "Run, kids, run!
Everybody run! This is not fun.
This is not a circus, people."
Yeah, it's super creepy. Yeah, and that's just a super rough scene. Tommy follows the priest. all the way into a bathroom, and
No privacy, man.
I don't know if that was it a part of the church or
Yeah, I think it was part of the church.
but he follows him into the bathroom there, and just as he's about to shoot him, a couple of guys run up on him and start knocking him around pretty good.
I always forget what happens to him because they get him up against the wall, and then all of a sudden you hear this cracking.
Oh God, no! I
and
never.
I'm like,
yeah.
oh man, yeah, and I always forget what happens. And I'm like, what was that? What'd they do to him? Did they break his arm? Did they pop his wrist? No, they fractured his skull,
Yeah.
which is like insane.
Yeah.
Because when you think about like the pressure you have to put on somebody's head
Mm-hmm.
to do that with your bare hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which was another note I wrote about that scene. The soldiers from India, like that was one thing that your man, MP
Jarvis.
Patrick Jarvis.
Patrick Jarvis, MP. MP.
Yeah, Patrick Jarvis. That's one thing he says in the next scene is
Wait, who?
Patrick Jarvis.
MP.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do that.
In the next scene, he says that we have to stop using soldiers who've been in India. They hit too hard.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Well, think about it. India at this time is being controlled by Britain,
Yeah.
which ends up leading to the whole Gandhi revolution and all that stuff. So I'm sure they were just brutal to the indigenous people of India.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, I don't
Which
know
I'm sure
what that
that's
means,
to like
but-
any colony or country or whatever you want to say that they've invaded. Kind of like, Ireland, when we talked about that before in the minisode,
Yeah.
them invading up there. It's like, I'm sure they weren't, nice and easy to them either.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, the soldiers from India. Yeah, so they fracture his skull like against the wall there. They also smash his head on that pipe too. In the end of the episode,
True,
when
yeah.
he's naming off his injuries, he says internal bleeding, concussion, and a fractured skull.
he's hemorrhaging.
Yeah. So then he's been taken by the Oddfellows after that. Patrick Jarvis is there with,
MP.
yep, a couple other guys we don't know. And Tommy says that the priest has been passing information on to the Soviets for Section D,
Yeah.
right? Okay. And that was why he was going to kill him.
It's all part of a bigger plan.
Bigger picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they basically just threaten him. They tell him that, if he doesn't do exactly what they tell him to, then they're going to take his son. And then
We have people in your life.
Yeah.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah, that was the other line that kind of leads to the next scene. They like dump him out, in the middle of the road by his car. He somehow manages to drive home, and then Mary says that he's fired all the soldiers and stuff.
Yeah. He's brought in what? Was it a bunch of Lee family people, maybe?
He's bringing in his own men. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be Blinders and Lees.
Yeah.
Because he told Arthur on the phone only
Only
gypsies and kin.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, he's in pretty bad shape. He's like,
He is sweaty.
yeah, he's shaking, he's sweating, he's throwing up, he like is stumbling all over his words. Do you notice when he called Ada and it was like setting up the meeting with somebody from the Soviet embassy? He said, set up the meeting for 10 a.m., 10 p.m.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, he's just like slowly
messed up,
ceasing
man.
to function. Yeah. So he's in pretty bad shape, but he can't stop. Like he has to keep these.
I gotta do this.
Yeah, and he's trying to secure like his next move. Like he failed at what he was attempting, and so now he's got to set up the backup plan.
Right.
He's got to find another way to get them out.
Well, I kind of look at it too of like I think he feels like he's kind of on the edge of like losing his life here, and so I think back to like the whole Campbell situation. He told Campbell that if I die, you're gonna die too, because there are plans set up to have people kill you if I die
Yeah.
at your hands or whatever. So I think he's trying to he's at least trying to make things. He's trying to put things back in their favor at least before he might die.
Yeah. So then he's supposed to go make his apology to the priest. So he does a ton of coke and makes his way down there for the dinner. Yeah, and it was just like, even with all that coke, he was just like barely walking, like barely getting in there.
Well, he has his head down the whole time, so it's like you can't even see his eyes. And then when he finally looks up at Tatiana, man, that look on his face is like, ugh.
Yeah.
Death.
Well, and all of them are looking at each other crazy because I think they all know that like
they know what happened.
Yeah, they're realizing that like the priest did this to him.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's just shocking too, because they all see him as somebody to be feared, like an adversary.
Right.
Like he's not somebody who.
Now he's brought down to another level.
Yeah. So I think this is kind of a humbling moment for everybody, but Tommy's just trying to get through it, like just trying to get through his apology. But yeah, and he basically just says that like he was wrong, that he was given false information about the priest, and then the priest makes him do a contrition where he puts his own name in the place of God every time.
Instead of God, say my name.
Say my name.
Say it. Do
God.
it. I don't know why do I think of Uncle. Oh dang it, Charlie's uncle and
Uncle Jack.
Uncle Jack. Yeah, do it. Say it.
Two guys palling around.
No, I don't want to do anything with you, Uncle Jack. Come on, be fun, like old times.
Put your hands over my hands.
Could you just put your hands over my hands?
We're lawyers. So Tommy gives his apology and gets out of there. But he's got a meeting with Ada and some people from the Soviet embassy. So he makes his way over to Ada's. I love how the first question in the door was, "Do you have cocaine?"
Do you though?
Yeah.
I don't think she really ever answered the question.
Yeah. And then I'm glad that I watched this a couple times, because it just like gets so murky with like all the conflicts,
Right.
And like, I mean, so will you explain what what's going on there? Like why they want, like why Section D or whoever the higher ups want this all to fail. Like, when they're seemingly setting it up to work, but they want it to fail.
They want
Like, why do they want to break off diplomatic relations, though?
That I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, the whole thing of I think we've talked about this before. When before I was here, I think it was actually before. I think it happened before World War I ended. But anyway, the I don't know what you want to call him. Maybe the Tsar of Russia, whoever the top dog was, the king or whatever of Russia, is related to the king of England at that time. In that time period that we're in right now. And so there was a whole deal of, getting them out and trying to help the old republic. I know, again, that sounds like Star Wars, but I'm trying to make a difference between
the old republic,
Russia and Soviet Union, because they're just two different things,
the Soviet Republic.
Exactly. So anyway, I don't know. I don't know if like the British government's trying to like cut off all ties from Russia and try to get away from like helping old Russia out. I don't know. It's just really weird, man.
Okay. No, I mean, and Tommy basically just sums it up as like they wanted to break off the relations. Yeah, they don't give a reason for it. There's just like they want it so this happens.
Right, and I wonder how like accurate to history this is. Like in terms of them like wanting to break off relations and such,
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's just a lot in this time period between the two world wars. There's so much happening, especially in Europe, in political and like landscape changing. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's just so much happening and so much going on. It's crazy.
Did you understand why? Like they asked why he would tell him that. He said because his family will be sacrificed if they succeed, I guess. Like if they succeed in blowing up the trains. I didn't really understand that.
Well, I don't know. Maybe if he just thinks that if it happens that they'll blame his family, or somehow his family will get caught up in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, think about like what Campbell was doing with him. It's like he was going to make sure that in the end, him and his whole family pay for, their crimes and what they did to him personally. So I think I would almost see it like they want the Soviets to blow up the train, which is in the plan, but then it would all tie back to, oh no, it's really these guys that are at fault, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of working pieces in this season.
Yeah,
with
the only other thing I thought just might be like that they were the only ones who knew about it, so that they might just like get rid of them all.
Yeah, I could see that too. Yeah.
Yep, and then we come back around to the injuries. Like Tommy's had enough; he cannot go any further, and Ada has to take him out of the meeting. Starts taking him down the stairs, and he can't go all the way down. He says he has a fractured skull, a concussion, and internal bleeding. And
he's starting to hemorrhage.
Yeah. And he can't see. So it's all working out.
What do you think about that last line though?
I did like that.
What do you think about that though? I mean, like, it's just strange to me. I mean, he obviously didn't, when we did have the episode in season 1? Season 2? I think it was season 1. About, their father coming around. He wanted nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe like deep down, that's still your dad,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was just kind of found that last line kind of interesting.
Yeah. Well, your mind like manifests some crazy shit when you're dying too. Like,
that's true, yeah.
Because okay, so you always hear people talk about like doing DMT, but your body makes, I don't know if it's the exact same thing, but it's basically the same thing. Your body makes that, and whenever you're dying, it like releases those like chemicals in your brain, and so like who knows what exactly you see because you're dying.
This
You know,
is true,
you can't really report back on that. You just if you take drugs, I guess you know what happens when you do DMT, but.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of liked it because I liked it because it showed how close to death he was.
Right. I guess I'm talking about. I guess I feel like I'm talking more about like his relationship though with his dad, because it almost felt like he was happy to see him. You know what I'm saying?
I think he's just delirious.
You're just delirious, maybe.
Yeah.
Daddy,
He's fucked up and really coked out.
That's true. Yeah. I'm just looking too deep into it, I guess.
And I don't know. Yeah, there's just like no mention of him, ever again, and so it just. I don't know. It doesn't feel super personal.
Well,
I think he's just on death's door and he's seeing dead people.
Right. I mean, he did talk about, at the beginning of the episode about the only thing their dad ever really taught them was how to kill a stag. And maybe he holds that really close to his heart, I don't know.
The way they said it was weird. They said how to kill and cut a stag. And so I always wondered if it meant like how to kill like all the men they've killed, and then how to cut up a stag.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, I don't know. I wondered about that. I mean, it could easily mean kill the stag and then cut it up.
Get the right meat off of it.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, anything else? You got any other thoughts on the episode?
No, not that I can think of, man. We're rolling along.
Yeah, this season is.
We're already halfway through the season, man.
Yeah, we're over halfway through the season.
Yeah, we're already. Yeah, that's true. This is episode 4.
I got a couple episodes left.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, get into season 4, and then we can really start talking about stuff that I don't remember ever happening.
And then it'll all come back to you.
It'll like.
Or am I gonna have to take over the show?
It'll be like watching brand new episodes for me.
Well,
like, oh my god, dude, did you see last week?
He'll be like, yeah.
Yeah, I saw it 2 years ago.
Where have you been?
All right. Well, that is it for this week. Just make sure to follow us on everything. On Twitter at Joshua Lynn Gary and Red Right Hand PO1. YouTube is God, that's a hard way to say that.
Just go search Red Right Hand Podcast.
Yep, that's it. See ya.